supposed to play. And that's what we had 2 years ago, and I think we're working towards that again this year.
So are we wrong to think that that's Dwumfor's job, or is Lawrence Marshall possibly in that? Can you talk about that,
all
the
the
battle between
guys.
those two?
You've got a whole group of guys in there now. You've got a whole group of people in that group. I look at, there's 5 guys possibly that are starter for those first inside 2 positions. And the other thing we've done with the inside 2 positions, they're equal. Like when you talk about a 3 technique and you talk about a nose, they're really equal positions. One just plays on one side and one plays on the other. So you could have the possibility of 5 guys that are being able to play those 2 positions.
Who are those 5 guys?
Well, the 5 guys would be, as you mentioned before, you've got Brian Monet, and you've got Lawrence Marshall, and you've got Dwumfor, you've got Aubrey Solomon, and you got Carl Kemp. You've got 5 guys that I believe, starting in the spring last year and right now through this camp, have really earned the right to, that where you say, okay, we trust you. We think when you go in there, you will play the type of defense that we expect you to play.
What went into the decision to move Carlo inside, and how has he done there?
He kind of came up to us, and Carlo gives you a really unique player in that he's very intelligent and he understands football. He's played the anchor position. Okay, now he's gotten himself bigger. He's gained about 15 pounds. He's one of the strongest players on the team, and he himself wanted to move inside because it's less running. You got to be a lot faster athlete to play outside, and he felt he could do a better job inside. Well, now you have the guy that can fit in inside, but if anything ever happened, he could also play outside. So he gives you that guy that can play a lot of different positions, and you'd still trust him on all of it.
Who's behind Rashawn and chasing the outside?
Well, with Sean outside, the guys that are playing the end position that have rotated and done a lot of things there is obviously you have Rashawn, and then you've got Carlo's been there some. You've got Quiddy Pay, who's had a really good camp. Quiddy's shown us the ability that he can play both the end and the anchor position, and then you've got Aiden Hutchinson, who has showed us some really good things as a freshman. So that gives you the ability to rotate again. You got guys that can just go through there. And then on Chase's side, you've got Quiddy again, and then you've got Reuben Jones, the ability a junior that has played some football here before. So got all guys that have worked really, really hard. So like if you ever ask, what's your starting lineup? Who's the guys? I don't know. That's why you have Tuesday. That was yesterday. You got today. We'll find out now. You're all starters. Just who's going to take the first snap? And that's what we always talk about. You're all starters. You've earned the right. If you're going to earn the right to rotate, then you're a starter. Okay? So let's say who puts their foot on the grass the first play. All right, if you want to call that a starter, that's a starter. But in 4 plays, there may be another guy in there that's playing just as an important part of a role as anybody else.
Has Luigi been practicing this fall? Is that something that's still carrying over from last year's injury, or is there something new there?
What's that, the rotation?
Luigi.
Oh yeah, Luigi's fine. Luigi got a little bump and bruise. He's been out for a little bit. He was doing really, really well, and he got a little bit of a setback. Nothing real serious, but it slowed him up a little bit.
When you have the depth and talent you do up front, and also the linebackers in secondary, can you just talk about this defense as a whole and your thoughts days away from it playing?
Well, again, yeah, it's a lot of guys that played last year, and Coach Brown's done a great job of getting this defense to be the aggressive type of defense that it is, and like I said, all these guys, there's so many guys back. Now the next step is let's find out. You guys have all done a lot of writing about them. Everybody's talked a lot about these guys. The great news is Saturday we'll find out, and Saturday's their turn. Now it's Saturday to find out if they carry the torch for last year's and the year before's and that kind of thing. And they're the next defensive group at Michigan. Let's see where they rank.
What is it about your room that continually seems to have guys that will pass along to the next guy and the next guy? So every year we talk to you, you have the same situation or something similar. What is it about your room that has been going on for several years?
Well, I think the players understand that part of the reason they are who they are is because somebody did that for them. I'll still never forget Rashawn Gary coming in and Chris Wormley sitting right next to him. And as I would make corrections, you would see Wormley whispering in his ear. And at one time I thought, why is he talking when I'm talking? Well, I'm finding out that Chris Wormley is telling Rashawn or explaining, I guess maybe my language was not what he understood, and he was probably saying, hey, coach is just trying to tell you should be doing this. Well, all of a sudden now this year, I see Rashawn Gary, and sitting right next to him is Aiden Hutchinson, and it's exact same thing. And I think when this is all done, you're going to hear Aiden Hutchinson say the guy that helped him more than anything and has brought him along as fast as he has been Rashawn Gary. And that's what makes me so proud of the guys in our room. I mean, we've got some guys in our room that are, I don't know if you find them in a lot of other places' rooms. I don't know. All I know is I'm proud of this group because they want to be as good as they can be, and they want to help everybody. And I think it's all stems from the fact that there are 8 or 9 guys that could play. Not like you're a starter and I don't care about the backup. Our guys understand, when you play the type of football we want to play, you can't play the whole game and be as successful as you want to be. So you better hope there's a guy behind you that can give you that blow and let you go out there and him take over, and then you come back again and you pass the baton throughout that game. And I think that's why they help each other, because they all know that they're all starters.
Greg, how much different does the offensive line look this year compared to maybe last?
Well, I'm really impressed with the offensive line. I tell you, and the reason I say that is we've had a very physical camp, and tell you what, they've shown some really good things. I'm excited about our offensive line.
Greg, a lot of people on both sides of the ball, and coaches as well. Everybody's talking of like a new attitude, kind of different sense of confidence. I think it's evident with a lot of players. But connecting to that, you personally, you've always been a lively guy, always energetic and exciting. Is this year different for you? Is this year's team kind of re-energizing you a little bit?
I think every team is different. Every team is different. If it doesn't become different, it's time to get out. I love finding out, let's see what this team does, and whenever you have a group of guys, and this starts with Jim, this starts with Coach Harbaugh from the very top, the way he runs things and the way we expect our kids, that when we come in our room right here, this is Michigan, and our kids are different, in my opinion. I think our kids are the ones that you love coaching because they have high character. They want to be great football players. I mean, one of the things we do in our room, we watch any clips, our audio visual department does this for us, any clips of the pro football defensive linemen that are playing right now. And we watch the clips of them in the preseason. And they're cheering when Wormley got his sack the other day. They're cheering when they see Mo Hurst running on. And the thing that's really, really neat to see, there was a game last week. Taco Charlton, at whatever size and weight he is, he was running 40 yards down the field as hard as he could. And our guys were going, Coach, look at. I said, well, that's a Michigan football player. That's how they play. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that get you fired up, and as a coach, you say, I'd love to get a couple more of these guys to have that opportunity, and to see. I mean, the one guy we watched some film, just clips they pick out the best clips. Glasgow. He's playing 4 different positions, and he's tormenting the offensive line. We're all going, that's Glass, man. That's Glass. Look at him. That's what excites your room, that apparently they're doing the right things. And then when they get to the next level with their degrees from Michigan, now life's pretty good. And that's the way we look at it at our place.
Greg, what are your impressions of Notre Dame's offensive line and offense in general?
Notre Dame always has had an offensive line. They had one of the best offensive line coaches in college football forever in Harry Hiestand, who left last year and went to the NFL. And he's got guys still there, obviously. And Notre Dame's offensive line over the years, as long as Harry had been there, I would say would rank up at the top of anybody you played against. So they're going to be very well coached. They have 3 guys that are very experienced, that have played a lot of football, and then they've got 2 other guys that were backups that were heavily recruited, obviously, and so they're going to be a good offensive line. They have a good offense.
And how much trouble does the quarterback get?
Anytime you have a quarterback that can move his feet, that's another dimension. But we're excited about playing him.
Do you feel like facing Shea has, kind of
Well,
prepared you a little bit?
I don't know if that gets you ready for whatever it gets you ready for. I mean, I'm impressed with Shea. I mean, and a lot of other things, not running. I don't know. I mean, don't get me talking about that. I don't have anything to do with I don't have anything to do with offense. I don't know anything about offense. All I know is what's in my room.
With the rotation, Chase and Rashawn don't strike me as guys who are going to take snaps off, or guys who want to get off the field or give other people a shot. How do you make sure they are sharing a little bit?
Theirs is different. I mean, it all goes by the player, and like, for example, Chase Winovich, he could very easily play every snap of the game in his mind. But then all of a sudden, when he just ran 50 yards downfield, and then he came back and maybe ran 30 yards to the side to make a play and all that, I know in the fourth quarter, if he can get a few plays off somewhere in there, he's going to be better in that fourth quarter. Same thing. I mean, now different is with Rashawn. He's 285 pounds. He's a bigger guy carrying more weight, and he plays so fast. You're going to want to give him a break. And it's not about that moment. It's about the end of the game when you're going to need him. You always want to have something in that tank so that in the fourth quarter you have a chance to play as good as you did in the first and second quarter.
Right, there's a lot of speculation. Rashawn's good to go for Saturday, right?
Sean will be. You watch. You tell me afterwards how Rashawn does. Okay, that's all I'll say on that.
Anything else?
Not your position, but I think Chris Evans the other day said that Devin Bush is the glue of the defense. Do you see that?
Well, he's a very, very good leader, very good leader. And he's a smart football player. And anytime a guy has intelligence and is confident enough to talk like Don makes sure his backers do, and then you got a guy that comes from a football family. I mean, yeah, I'm excited about Devin. Really, really excited about him.
You obviously went up against Shea in practice. As a D-line coach, what would your scouting report sort of be if you're preparing for a guy like him?
If the head football coach would let us hit him as hard as we could every time, we would try to do that. That's what my scouting report would be. Now, you may not be able to catch him, but no, that's what I would do. But we aren't allowed to touch him, so I'm not going to talk anymore about that.
Greg, we heard a lot from the players in the offseason about Jim being maybe more personable, taking more feedback from players. You said they're playing music before practice. Have you noticed a different Jim this year compared to the past?
It's just Jim is a great head football coach, and Jim Harbaugh doesn't change. Jim Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh. Maybe the thing that's changed is our players. Maybe that's it. But no, there's nothing different with him. He's done a great job, I think, since he's been here, and he's doing a great job now.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.